this month's exhibition theme in February, as we do every February, is called The Original Valentine, a gift from nature's heart to you. So we talk a little bit about Valentines tonight, and we have some poetry, we talk about science, we talk about art, and we talk about nature. So first we want to say welcome to Words Falling from the Sky in the present moment, the good news from Sedona. The story of the original Valentine. Who was Valentine anyway? We know Valentine's Day. Well, when you look into it, it's really lovely and it's very heartfelt. That's what we say is heart-to-heart energy. But Valentine was a early Christian saint, and he was marrying people into the faith of Christ. And he was also a healer. That's why he was considered a saint. He would heal people with his hands. And so this is the 3rd century, between 3rd and 4th century BC, and the Roman Emperor Claudius said, well, this is bullshit. And come on, get that guy, bring him here. Put him in jail. Put him in jail. And the jailer, the guy was really a saint, because he's sitting there in jail, and the jailer's going lamenting that his daughter is blind. So he says to the jailer, he said, bring your daughter here. So the emperor heard about this, of course. He said, well, we'll test this guy now. We'll bring the daughter out here, and we'll just see if he could make her see. So, yes, he did. He made her see with his hands. And the emperor said, well, too bad, you're going to die anyway. And ordered him to be stoned and to have his head cut off. But before that happened to him, from his heart, he knew this person that he healed so well. He cut a heart out of paper and wrote a letter to her, a love letter. And that was the original Valentine. And it says something about who we are. You have 2 different paths to go on. One is the heart energy that helps someone, heals them and loves them. The other one is the person who's, we don't like what you're doing, your head comes off. And that's pretty apparent in our world today. We have a lot of different forces at work. And I like to always say who I am. I'm an artist, I'm a symbolist. I say I'm a quantum artist. And the reason I say that, and it's really kind of important, because there's this great teaching from Tibet. The person who brought Buddhism to Tibet, his name was Padmasambhava Guru Rinpoche. And his main teaching was, if it happens, it's perfect. It's up to you to understand what happened and apply it to yourself. Now, the other side, this is why I'm a quantum artist, is because if it hasn't happened, we know about quantum energy. The person who watches the experiment changes the experiment. Amen. We're all in an experiment every day, and our thoughts towards who we are, who our country is, who the world is, and what's going on make a difference. And we can change things by our thoughts. And you could call it a prayer if you want. But the idea is we have the capacity to make things different before they happen. After they happen, we have to deal with it to the best of our ability and understand why it happened. And I'm an advocate, as you could tell, of the Age of Enlightenment, which started this country. It's about understanding nature and what she has to teach from us, to us. As we say, well, nature is the mother of art. So all the inspiration from nature turns into symbols. Paintings, sculpture, dances, buildings, everything has been inspired by nature. And when all those symbols have been made, we discovered that the symbols have made science. And the science is what has pushed us into new discoveries of who we are and where we are in the universe and how we are connected to it. And that's a lot about what we do here. We try to explain to people through symbols how they're connected to nature and how they can look deeper into themselves. And we have a section just called Art and the Healing Arts, because this is all new stuff, but it's not new stuff. Art heals. Putting art in hospitals makes people more well. They've done all the science for it. It changes your lives. It changes who you are. And I always say, forget insurance, buy art. You'll never get sick. And if you get sick, it'll be a short sickness because of the power of the art that you have embraced. We'll move on to science now, and I've got just a little bit of science this time because we went over huge science last time. Cosmic rays, you got to know about the cosmic rays. The sun shield is dropping, the earth shield is dropping. We are now being bombarded by cosmic rays. If you think the world and everything that's going on, it is weird and you feel weird about it, cosmic rays have a play in this. Because they affect everything in the world. They affect the material, physical mantle of who you are. They affect your emotional body, the psychological state. All your cells are changed by cosmic rays. Your molecular DNA mutation comes from, it's changing who we are. It changes everything. It affects everything. And we are in an extreme cosmic ray condition that happens cyclically, that you can learn more about it. There's a wonderful thing on YouTube, if you go to YouTube, it's called Suspicious Observers. And it's a young guy who's a scientist, and man, he will tell you about what's happening with the sun and the planets and how it's changing us. And it's all science. He has all the information from satellites and things, showing you the energy and then talking about the energy and what's happening with it and how it's changing who we are. We have some new paintings. We have a diptych here, and this diptych is all about the butterfly dancing in the winds of the golden moment, following the flowers, the red and white flower, the flowers of wisdom and desire. So the butterfly in transformations is taking all their golden moments and following wisdom and desire to become more enlightened. Then we have another one over there. It's the two who have become one. It's got a little red flower in it there. It's an ancient philosophical statement about partnership and the partnership in ourselves as well. Because we both have two sides that need to be united before we're whole. We also, once we do that, we can find a partner and we can unite with them as well. And find true oneness through unconditional love. And that's what that painting is about. Then all the way to the back, which you won't be able to see until afterwards, is the goddess of the healing arts who is having a transformational golden moment. And it's all about how certain moments can bring you to that place where you will experience some degree of oneness, harmony, wholeness, and enlightenment. And those are the moments that we love to retain and say that was a blessing for us in our lives. So we have some poetry here too, which we would love to share with you. And a lot of it will be about heart and Valentines. So we'll say, the first one's called The Original Valentine. A gift from nature's heart to you, which is the title of our exhibition. So we said, what is the original Valentine? It is everything. It is all the suns, and all the stars, and all the planets, and all the moons, the asteroids and the comets, the galaxies, the nebula, the pulsars, the quasars, and the black holes. All this and more. It's the oceans, the rivers, the lakes, the creeks, the mountains, the valleys, the deserts, and the plains. And there is more. The plants of medicine and food, the animals, the birds, the fish, the whales, the dolphins, the great biome, the microbes, the insects, the amphibians, the reptiles, all of the great family of life. These are all Valentines from nature's heart to you. Your heartbeat. Yes, yes, there's much more. Your heartbeat, your breath, your thoughts, your emotions, your love, your compassion, your hopes, your fears, and your prayers. Oh yeah. And yes, there is more. Your connectivity, your interdependence, your inner dependence, your awakening, compassionate awareness and activities. And yes, it is your transcendence that is connecting us and moving us into the eternal awakened being of enlightenment. And that is our gift from nature's heart to you, to me, to all of life, and to all sentient beings. Embrace it with your heart and become the eternal love that flows naturally and spontaneously to you. And we say Happy Valentine's Day.
Thank you.
Okay, well, I wrote one for the new year. I wrote a couple for the new year. One's an old one, one's a new one. This is one for the new year. It's called Riding the 2020 Wave. Riding the 2020 wave. Here it comes. If you haven't seen it already, you will. Yes, if you haven't seen it, you will. Well, let me repeat myself. If you haven't seen it, you will. The invisible. That's right, the invisible. It's becoming visible. 99.9999999, and I can keep going on with those nines for a long time, percent of everything we never see, it's becoming visible. And let me tell you, that's a hell of a lot of information. That's a lot of information, and that's a lot of transformation coming in, and a lot of transmutation, and a lot of manifestation. And we all need to look out for the overload. All those circuits, they're smoking. Slow down from hyperdrive. Take a little rest from the fast lane, because we're almost there. More meditation, more meditation, more meditation, riding the 2020 wave. So it's up to you. The responsibility is to meditate and not get sucked into the vortex that is shredding everything. If you want to stay whole, find your wholeness and love it. Because it's what? As I said to somebody else tonight, we got friends, we got family, we got community. Above that level, there's not a lot that we're going to connect with that isn't really disturbing. So stick with your friends, your family, your community, and those people that you love. You can pull together and hold a center during these times that are so difficult for us all. Okay, just a science one. I love science poems. It's called Nature, the Ultimate Alchemist. 60 elements in all. Together, only mostly 10. Oxygen, carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, calcium, phosphorus, sulfur, sodium, chlorine, and magnesium. and a little bit of 50 others, just little tiny bits though. And they're all dancing to the song of nature's heart. They're all connecting us in highly charged connectivity. Transforming, transmuting, and transcending form and no form, you and me and all life and all planets, moons, suns, galaxies, and universes emerge and are returning to the cosmic fires of the cauldron of change, of the alembic of rarefication, of the great transformer, that great transformer that sits in the center of the Milky Way, the giant black hole that takes everything that is material and turns it into high energy light. Where novelty and habit dance their dance and bring to the perfect present moment the eternal changes of nature's heart as a gift and a blessing, all to understand and to be. Thank you, nature.
Thank you.
Okay, here's my New Year poem. I love this one. And it's called Happy New Year. The end times, they're here. Turn off your computers. Turn off your iPhones. Turn off your iPads and your iPods. The end time, it's here. Don't you think the end times are here? Don't you feel the end times are here? Don't you know the end times are here? Don't you understand? Don't you love? The end times are here. Don't you have compassion and don't you have a heart? You better, because the end times are here. Don't you know how to share? Don't you know how to care? And don't you know how to grow closer? Open your eyes. Open your ears. Open your feelings. Open your heart and open your mind. Because the end times, they're here. This is my favorite part. It's the end of time for hate. It's the end of time for anger. It's the end of time for jealousy. It's the end of time for greed. It's the end of time for delusion. And most of all, it's the end of time for fearing of the unknown. Come to the present perfect moment and practice your meditation and practice your happiness and practice your love and practice your compassion and caring and sharing and growing closer. Practice connectivity and gratitude for all the blessings, for all the gifts, for all the love, as they flow eternally to all of us, to you and to me, and to all sentient beings, to all worlds and all universes, from nature's heart. Join the oneness of the transcendent, because the end times, they're here. Okay, that one's kind of fun. I have one here that I've been thinking about reading or not reading, but I'm going to read it anyway. You guys just fasten your seatbelts. I have some really lovely, peaceful, heartwarming things to read after this. So this one says, you had look out. Look out, you'd better look out. The evil one, he's coming through. He's not human. He's not like you. No feelings for others. No feelings for life of any kind. Discrimination, hatred, cruelty, and lies, all cloaked in anger and jealousy and stupidity and ignorance of every kind. Joy in torture and intolerance of any peace of mind. Always looking for war and those who have been left behind. Don't be infected by those viral rants, as he thinks people are just like ants. He's not human. He does not know that every heart and soul is more precious than all the gold. The price he will pay when he's gone away, so terrible, 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 it will be that we can say, we only pray that someday awakening will come his way. Okay. Okay. Well, this one is about embracing the peace of winter's heart, which takes us back to some peace, right? Because we are sort of in the heart of winter. It was just this last week that we were halfway between the light and the dark, meaning that it got to be the darkest, and then on March 20th it'll be more light again. So we're halfway between when it got darkest and the more light again thing. So I consider that to be the heart of winter. My personal view. Okay, so embracing the peace of winter's heart and the light of winter's heart and the peace of winter's heart. Every speck of dust, every atom, every molecule, every cell, every body, every home, every town, every city, every state, every country, every continent, every planet, every star, every galaxy, every universe, all began as sound. It is the music of nature's heart. A celestial song, born as light, the light of stars, the light of awakened consciousness, the light of meditation, and the light of every soul, singing and dancing, every grateful soul as they harmonize together with all souls of every world, and the greatest song of peace, compassion, and love found in the light of winter's heart. Oh, I got one here. This is a good one. This is very poignant. We all know about the new coronavirus. It's a radiant being. Well, we know there's trillions and trillions of microbes that live in us and around us. We're living in a world of microbes. And I wrote a poem about radiant beings because most people don't understand that we can't live without them and they can't live without us. And it's a community, it's a connectivity with a greater part of life. Actually, the microbes are much older than us. They're billions of years old. We're just newcomers. And they've helped us organize ourselves. So here's the poem, here it comes. Radiant beings dance through infinite patterns of light and sound. The invisible ancient wisdom keepers. That's who they are, the ancient invisible wisdom keepers. Now we know it's you. It's you who brought us here. Now we see you in your infinite diversity, which is visible now. They are your tools that shape the very life we know, creating the musical machinery of life force manifest in cell and flesh. We know you observe us. We know you listen to us. We know you meditate on us too, on our emotions, our actions, our words, our deeds. We are learning how deep the connectivity flows, and this allows us to grow. So embrace your microbes. All the good ones that are living in you will keep those bad ones away. And that's the truth. It's called the immune system, and the microbes are a really important part of it. And the more you read about and understand, the more you understand that we have a deep relationship, and when the relationship gets out of balance, we see disease and things happening that are microbes out of balance, basically, because we're out of balance. Okay. I had another one here that was for a friend, but I'm going to read it anyway. He didn't stay. It's called Here Comes the CRISPR, and that also relates to this new coronavirus. Because the scuttlebutt on the internet is that CRISPR is written all over the coronavirus. When they create something with the... Does everybody know that the CRISPR isn't the bottom drawer in your refrigerator? The CRISPR is a DNA splicing mechanism that is able to take DNA apart and put it back together again. And when they do that, because they do it all the time these days, there's 60,000 of them out there, an army of CRISPR workers. And anyway, the coronavirus is written all over the CRISPR use. I won't get into those details. They're very too much macabre and dark. But here comes the CRISPR is my poem. Whisper, whisper, here comes the CRISPR. Are you ready for the change? Life is now a chess game. All the players, they're no longer the same. Who's to credit? Who's to blame? Another trophy in the game. We really wonder, oh yeah, we wonder. We are nature, are we not? Well then let's give it a final say. Our species will either live or die, and we will never know why. Anyway, the CRISPR. I got another one that's kind of, a few more here. We'll get this wrapped up. I love this other one here. This is one that's also sort of a fun one. It's called Mystic Voyager Spirit Injector. Spirit Injector, Fuel Injector, Heaven Injector, Soul Injector. Modify your vehicle of human precious birth. Retool, remodel, and reform. Your soul dance, your spirit dance, your human dance, your transcendent trance dance. You can shapeshift. You can make shift. You can now shift. Get out of first gear. Move into second gear. Let out the clutch and shift again. This is for people who know how to drive a stick shift, right? Accelerating the rates of change. Now you're in novelty drive. There are more gears than stars. I like that line. Your vehicle is on its mystic voyage into the oneness. You are the voyager. Enlightenment is never over. It just keeps getting deeper and deeper and deeper in the cosmic ocean of being, in the oneness of the journey into the fields of happiness, love, and compassion and eternal peace. So that's what we want to drive our vehicles, right? You just got to know how to work the gears. That's when I say, okay, well, we're going to close with finding peace. It is your own responsibility, you know, this finding peace stuff. There is a sacred space, a moment in between thoughts. And right there in that moment, the little angels and devils dance. And they're all whispering, 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 trying to sway and lobby, to alter and direct your view. Peace, anger, pain, pleasure, joy, hate and love, jealousy and compassion, these are all choices in that sacred space in between your thoughts. Responsibility is about meditating, finding that space in between your thoughts and knowing that space where there's a reconciling force of peace. Follow your heart. The original mind, you can find it right now in between your thoughts. It is your present moment space. We could all bring peace there. It's, we're in control. And if you're not in control, you need to work to learn how to get in control of this thing up here on your head.
Amen to that.
The best way to do that is to have your heart talk to it and say, straighten up. Because we've always said, at least I've said a number of times in some of the things I'm talking, it's like, your heart knows. Trust it. Your brain is really good too, but it needs to follow the heart. The brain can figure out what the heart wants to do. The heart doesn't know how to figure it out. It just knows what it wants. So you've got to connect the two. And of course, the third thing you have to connect is your gut. Because it's controlling your brain and your heart. For Christ's sakes, why didn't they tell us this in school? It's all this stuff. The invisible is becoming visible. That's what we're talking about in the poem. We never knew this stuff. We've only beginning to learn it through the science, which was created by the symbols, which was created by the art, which is given to us by nature. There you go. Thank you for being here. I think that's wonderful. Okay, I got to do one more. You encouraged me. Well, this is my favorite one. It's about the. I mean, you have to be brain dead right now to not know that once a week, once a month, once a day, once a year, over and over and over and over again, asteroids are flying by. Oh, that one just went between the moon and us. Didn't hit us. We're okay. But the fact is, there's 80,000 of them out there they've now found that are going through our orbit. And we know from the past, we are a moving target, hard to hit. But we've been hit. And we'll be hit again. So this poem is about not being hit again. Fire and ice, almost every day now. Here they come, some so far away. They're really invisible. Mostly, you would never see them with your eye. Until they find the nearness into our solar system's domain. And then they light up our night and day. And our heavenly skies. And oh yeah, they are moving so fast. We say, take a guess. Maybe 25,000 miles an hour? Maybe 64,000 miles an hour? Maybe 160,000 miles an hour. And some are really small, like dust. And some swell in size miles across. There was one last year the size of Texas that just went right between the moon and us. Each is a cosmic traveler from untold eons past. Now here in this precious present moment, we are so happy to see them and to know them and to learn from them as they pass. Grateful that their visit this time hopefully next time and every time, is not a cataclysmic occurrence on our present moment path. So we give thanks to nature's heart for missing us again.
Yay.